There is this great misconception out there that people who attach deeply, quickly, strongly are codependent. This is not the case. This is actually due to the design of their nervous system. We're all wired for attachment. It helps us create bonds with other people. Now, some people will just have a more active attachment mechanism than others. If you do, it's really important that you are aware of this and you learn to protect yourself so that this particular trait is not exploited by other people. This attachment system and its impact on the people who have it and who get into relationships with exploitative narcissists is the topic of our video today. This is part 6 of a series that I made on the common traits of people who are targeted by narcissists. To quickly recap, the other 5 that we have already covered include conscientiousness, hyperempathy, cooperation, optimism, and fear of failure. We'll still have sentimentality to cover after this. My goal with making this series is to abolish a myth that somehow people who are targeted by narcissists are weak, fragile, feeble, they don't have much going on in their life, they're boring, and they seek excitement through this relationship with the narcissist. This is absolutely not the case. Typically, people who are targeted by narcissists have a full life, they have passions, they have interests, they have a pretty strong sense of self. However, they do have vulnerabilities like we all do, and this is what the series is about. Finally, before we get into the gist of this material, I would like to ask you to please support this channel by subscribing, hitting the bell button, liking the video and sharing it because it helps to disseminate this information and allows other people to find my videos. Okay, let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be drawing from the work of 3 individuals. Sandra L. Brown, who's the author of a fantastic book that I often recommend to my clients, and it's a book that really helped me also to understand this topic deeply and recover, and that is the book titled Women Who Love Psychopaths. The other 2 sources include the clinical psychologist Abdul Saad and also attachment trauma therapist Alan Robarge. Together, they have created a lot of very valuable material on attachment healing, which has helped me to recover and has also helped me to help other people. First, what is attachment? Attachment is a mechanism that's hardwired in us that helps us form bonds with other people. The first bond that we have is the bond with our mother. If someone has an attachment trauma, they will have a very difficult time forming bonds with other people. There are 3 different kinds of attachment styles. The first one, which we're going to talk quite a bit about in this video, is the anxious style. What this means is that a person is going to feel very anxious, very insecure when the person that they have a bond with is not present. The second kind is the avoidant kind, which is kind of the reverse. And this person is going to feel uncomfortable when they're getting too close with another person. And finally, the third type is the secure attachment, which we'll also be talking about. And that is where you want to be at. When you feel secure in a relationship, you have no trouble spending time on your own. You can easily move between closeness and separateness without triggering any alarms. Looking back at my own story, when I was younger, I actually had a more secure attachment style. It wasn't until I got into a relationship with a narcissist that I got dysregulated and became very anxious. This is something that happens to a lot of the people that I talk to. They reflect back at the time before and after the narcissist, before and after the relationship, and they can tell that there is a massive difference. Now, there also be examples of people who have become anxious or avoidant early on in their life. This is often due to the parenting style and the relationship that they have with their parents, which can predispose them to having not a secure attachment once they're in a mature relationship. I want to talk a little bit more about this secure attachment because this can help us sort of figure out, visualize, even feel into what it's like, what it should be like to be in a secure relationship. Basically, and here I'm going to be drawing from the work of Alan Robarge, people who attach securely have a nervous system that is balanced and is not triggered when there is separation. There is a fluidity between closeness and space. This is not going to trigger any alarms in those people. Secure attachment basically means that it's okay to be apart. It's okay to have your own life. It's okay to pursue your own goals, to spend time with your friends. You don't need to be with the person that you're bonded with all of the time. Now, to create this kind of dynamic takes maturity on both sides. This is really important because it is not possible to create a secure, attached relationship with a narcissist. They will upset this dynamic before you're even in a relationship. Of course, it all starts with love bombing, which is their way of expressing their own immaturity. It's like their need to be with you all of the time. It's a lot like when a baby cries for a mother when it wants to be fed, right? The child wants their caregiver to be there at their beck and call. Doesn't that sound like the narcissist in the early stages? This is why we often say that narcissist is emotionally immature. It's still at the level of a child. And of course, after this intense closeness, the distancing will occur. The narcissist will separate. It would have had its fill. Maybe it's getting a little bored. Maybe it wants to seek new thrills. And that's when the people who have already formed deep attachment bonds will feel deeply insecure and are going to worry about what it is that they have done. They will turn the blame on themselves and start asking those questions, which is of course to the narcissist's delight because they don't want to take any responsibility for their actions. You can see how this is going to severely destabilize you. You're first very close in, you feel like you have just met your soulmate, and then suddenly this person is starting to turn away from you, devalue you, distance themselves from you. That's going to create a very destabilized internal landscape that is emotionally overwhelming. And here, this is something I want to emphasize. This doesn't mean that you're a codependent person. It means that you have jumped on the narcissistic roller coaster and are severely dysregulated. The good news is that you can re-regulate yourself. It's something that I worked on, it's something I did, and at the end of this video, I'm going to give you 8 steps towards what you can do to re-regulate yourself. Now let's look a little bit more at what it means to be hyper attaching, to have this mechanism highly activated inside you. Sandra L. Brown in her book says that people who attach easily and quickly and deeply find a great deal of pleasure and satisfaction in forming relationships with other people. They really enjoy investing, putting themselves into the relationship. Why this is, that there's so much pleasure derived from this, we don't know. We think it's simply something it's an evolutionary thing that's been wired deeply into us so that we can form bonds, create relationships, and survive. There's also this energy flow that Abdul Saad talks about in his videos. It takes on more of this ethereal quality, the spiritual quality. There's this chemistry that forms fairly quickly with people who have empathic and who have this activated attachment system. Again, this feels really good and it makes it really easy to connect with other people. Sometimes all that is needed is a single gaze, a single word, a whiff of a scent, and you may feel like, oh my God, I know this person. I think that, this is the person that I want to really talk to, that I want to get to know. And this is going to start the process of slowly, and I would like to also add the word sweetly because it feels really good, erode your boundaries, make you very porous to the influences of the other person. It will be sucking you in. This mechanism also may fool you to believing that this person is safe. It usually does. While in fact, you have no idea who this person is because it takes a lot of time to really get to know someone. And in fact, you may be walking into a lion's den and not know it. Recently, in fact, just this morning, I opened YouTube and a video popped up That was a suggested video. It was a conversation between Marissa Peer, who I adore, and John Gray, you know, the author of the book that Women Are for Venus, Men Are for Mars. And the title really struck me. I didn't watch the video, but the title said it all. It says basically, don't go out with guys who turn you on right away. I think that that is so true, and it really speaks to this dynamic that can be very quickly formed with someone who has these exploitative interests. And here I want to pivot a little bit to talk about empaths and draw again from the work of Abdul Saad, because he says something really interesting. I'm going to be looking at my notes a little bit here. So he says that people who are empathic, and of course this model of personality that we've been building here over the last weeks with these videos includes people who are highly empathic. That was our video number 2. Empaths are predetermined, he says, to have attachment system that is very easily activated in the presence of others. It creates greater capacity to form bonds, to feel their pain. Now, there is a risk, however. There is a tendency to assume that other people are open to be intimate. It can set us up to overstep boundaries as well, right? Feel like we know someone before we really do, and also to experience rejection and resentment. This is something that we need to work on if we have these tendencies. Learn to put the boundaries also within ourselves, right? Also, in their ability to feel energy. This is really cool. I really love when he talks about this. He says that empathic people tend to have a deep desire to connect not just with others, but also with something that's higher than themselves. They recognize that there's a presence that's greater. It's something that's innate. I know that for myself, when I talk to some people who don't see that, who don't understand this, to me it's like mind-boggling. It's like the most obvious thing that we are not the pinnacle of creation. And this also is a mechanism that can drive us in desiring to form these bonds with others, but also to put them on a pedestal, right? Which is something that the narcissist, of course, will love, because he or she does feel like they are the pinnacle of creation. So for a narcissist, this attachment system is very different, works very differently. It's dysfunctional. Narcissist sees others not as someone to bond with and exchange energy with, but as someone who's an extension of themselves. Here the energy only flows one way, which is towards the narcissist. They're the takers, right? And of course, they see others as less than themselves, never higher, right? They are the best and the highest always. So what does this mean? This means that for narcissists, such bonds that the empathic people seek are impossible. So we're getting into something that has no way of working out. But they do know how to activate this attachment system in us. And the reason why the dynamic between a narcissist and someone who attaches easily works is because each side, or rather it seems to work, because it's an illusion. It doesn't really, but it seems to work, is because each side finds fulfillment in it, right? The narcissist is the taker, and the partner is the giver, of course, until the partner collapses, exhausts themselves, or the narcissist finds a new, more interesting target. So this is why also that, you know, when people ask me whether it's a session or if it's here in the comments, like, is it possible to make it work? Like, I really want to make it work. I'm so attached to this person. I can't let them go. It can feel terrifying, really, to lose somebody who you're so attached to. But here's the problem. If you try to do more and give the narcissist what they want, they're going to end up exploiting you, and then eventually they will drop you anyway because they get bored, right? Narcissists are chronically bored. However, if you try to put those boundaries and create a little bit of distance, which can be really difficult if you haven't healed your attachment style, then what you're going to do is you're going to create rage in the narcissist. They'll punish you. So you see that either way it doesn't work. The only time that it, again, seems to work is usually in the beginning, when it's just, you know, all excited, it's very exciting, it's very new, and when you are so in tune with the narcissist's needs that you can literally read their mind. That's when they're going to reward you. That's when the best days, the honeymoon days, are going to occur. So if you find yourself there, I want you to know that there is hope. you can come out of this. Again, I've been there. And the reason why I feel like it took me so many years to come out of it was because I wasn't aware. I didn't watch videos like this. I didn't read these books to know what the hell was going on with me, right? Why was I attaching to people who are so toxic? So I want to give you a big feeling of hope, but also warn you that this work doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of your time and investment and patience. So here's what you have to do to heal yourself and to find an equilibrium. Here are 8 steps, and I'm just going to go through them quickly. I feel like this could be a series in and of itself, but I want to give you something to walk away with. Number 1, what you want to do is to learn to enjoy time with yourself. You need to get to know who you are, your likes, your dislikes, what triggers you, what irritates you, what delights you. You need to have a map. You don't need to know it all, but you need to have a pretty good sense of who you are and what you want in your life. Also, when you don't know yourself and you're only acting from projections and reactions, you're not really present in a relationship. It's all about just, meeting your insecure needs. And that's, of course, isn't gonna take you to the place where you really want to be, where you form these really strong, secure, sustainable attachments with people who reciprocate the investment. Number 2, you want to calm down your nervous system. This is key. And you can do it from 2 different sides. Actually, more than 2, but I just want to sort of generalize it and boil it down to 2 because it's easy to understand. One is from within and the other one is from without. From within, we're watching our thoughts. We need to detach ourselves and become our own observers and identify negative, false beliefs that we've carried that are really not true, that are making us feel really bad and are making us insecure and prone to engage with people too quickly because we want to stop feeling bad. The second was from the outside in. It's basically physical work that you do, and that is externalization, working out, breath work, trauma release exercises, clean diet, lots of magnesium, right? Hydrating yourself, taking good care of yourself. It's basically self-care from the outside in. So that's what you want to do. You want to calm your nervous system, make yourself feel safe, okay? Number 3 is learn to set boundaries. I've made lots of videos on boundaries, which you can watch. Also, there are other people who have done a great job on those. So it's a big topic in and of itself. You can write books about this alone. But basically, you want to stop absorbing other people's thoughts and energy. It can be really hard if you're highly empathic, but it can be done. Basically, once you start observing your thoughts and understanding your inner landscape, you will know when a foreign invader enters your space. And you'll be able to tell, hey, that's not mine. These feelings are not mine. When you walk into a room and you can feel other people, it's okay to feel other people. It's actually a superpower. You can kind of telepathically be able to tell the temperature in the room, see what people want, what they need. It is really a superpower. But you need to also put boundaries within yourself, how much you want to engage with who, because you don't have to. There's no obligation. You can know who they are, you can know what's going on, but you don't have to absorb it and take it upon yourself to fix it, right? Next is be more assertive and authentic. This is a great area to work on. I've been really enjoying it myself. I'm still enjoying it. I still love it. I love speaking my mind. I love saying what I want. And this really ties in with releasing your attachment to outcome. Because when you're attached like this, what's going to happen is you're going to be very careful about what you say because you don't want to insult, you don't want to hurt somebody, you don't want to cause a reaction. Again, it's something that happens when we're in relationships with narcissists, right? There's no other way around it. Is you're going to be an instant recipient of rage if you don't do something that they expect. So to unlearn this, you want to become very comfortable with stating who you are and stating your likes and dislikes and not worrying about where it's going to go. This requires deep trust in yourself and also in the fact that things are going well for you. And that, again, can take time. What's next? We have, don't be desperate to be in a relationship too quickly, right? Take your time when choosing a partner. Slow down. This is so important. Also, when entering a new relationship, take it slow. This is how you expand the honeymoon stage, right? It doesn't even need to end. It can just kind of like keep unfolding deeper and deeper. It doesn't have to be this period of time when things are intense and then you hit, the reality barrier, or the routine sets in. It doesn't have to be like that. There are many ways to continue adding excitement into a relationship. And one of those things is to really slow down and have a life besides this relationship. Next is be discerning. This is super key. When choosing a partner, you want to choose someone who attaches securely. Both of you don't need to be in the perfect place, but there needs to be enough knowledge and practice in both of you so you understand this, right? So you understand this automatically. Because when you're with an anxious partner, while it can feel flattering at first, to be so wanted and needed so much, it like triggers some sort of pleasure mechanism in us, but soon enough it's going to turn toxic. So really, really do take your time and choose your partners wisely. Number 7, this is biggie. You want to evolve past your childhood. Remember that this dynamic, this anxious or avoidant dynamic, they are usually the ones that are set in by the parents. Once we're older and mature, we need to learn to take care of ourselves and regulate our own emotions. That's part of growing up. So you want to be there, and you ideally want your partner to be there too, so you can create a new, stable, mature relationship and maybe have a child yourself, right? That's when you're actually ready to do something like that. So don't keep going back to the old childhood dynamic. Do the work you need to do to get past it, to realize it's done. You're no longer a child, you're a mature adult, and you're an equal. You're creating a relationship with somebody who's an equal to you, not lesser than or more than. And finally, 8, cultivate your intuition, your soul GPS, right? By creating an inner sense of peace and security so that you can hear your inner whisperings. And all of these, again, just like the traits of the person that we're building here in this series, are interlocked. And once you reach a stage where you feel really good within yourself, they're all going to be present. And one builds the other. So this is my video for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to your comments and questions as usual. And if you'd like to engage with me personally and have a session, below are links to my website and also to programs that I have in helping you to find yourself and create a beautiful life after a narcissistic relationship. So that's it from me today. Lots of love to you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye-bye.